You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 27th meeting of the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Managers. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
The June 27th, 2023 meeting of the Board of Managers for the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau. And may we have roll call, please, for attendance?
Absolutely. Becky Greenlaw, absent. Pat Harris.
Here.
Corinne Myers. Here. Stacy Bending is also absent. Martha King. Here. Adam Konechny.
Here.
Laura Prince.
Here.
Mike Sykes.
Here.
Doug Waters.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you for that. Moving right into our agenda items, do we have any public comments at this time? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion for approving the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Mike Sykes, a second by Martha King. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? We're gonna have a change in procedure. We discussed it with our legal team, and we're gonna no longer have the roll call vote on items on the agenda. And that's basically to save me from forgetting to do it, but we found out that, or we discussed that it was more feasible to just have the vote, and as long as it's unanimous, we'll just proceed. If we do have anyone opposing, then we'll do the roll call vote.
Yeah, I think that was brought up, I think that was started just because of the Zoom.
It was because of the pandemic.
Right.
Yes, and it made sense, as legal has advised us, it made sense to do it at that time. But just, make the meetings a little bit more efficient and save, like I said, save me. So, and with that, we'll move right into our treasurer's report. I'm going to ask Gail, in Becky's absence, to give us an update on our financial status.
The claims for May of 2023 include accounts payable totaling $78,352.25. Payroll totaling $43,229.81. Grand total of claims is $121,582.06. And these will be passed for full approval by signature, along with the Horizon Bank reconciliation and explanation, as well as the profit and loss budget performance, which you have in front of you, as well as the balance sheet. And those are all for May of 2023.
Okay, thank you.
So I would ask for a motion to approve.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the financial statement as presented by Gail Johnson.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Laura Prince and a second by Martha King. Any discussion, comments, questions? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Gail. And we're right down to our CEO report by Mr. Jack Arnett. What do we have going, Jack?
Wow.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Right along.
I know.
Yeah, of course, everybody knows, really, really crazy, busy time, great time. I think I mentioned last month that we were getting ready to go meet with the Lake County and the Porter County and the Elkhart County CBBs, do a combined meeting that was hosted in Lake County. And for those of you that have been around a while and know the history, the significance of meeting in Lake County is a big deal. There were times when the whole regional thing was not what it should be, and it's completely right on target now. They're just so willing to work with us. Linda's doing some cooperative marketing with them. I think we might have shared with you all that the air show is back. And the city of Gary's doing that. Unfortunately, and fortunately, they didn't communicate with even the Lake County CVB or us on the date, so it's the same weekend as the Grand Prix. But we're making a positive out of that, so we're gonna do co-marketing and say, come in and see the offshore races, or run up there and see this great air show, and people that can do both, or, it just, and it brings in another demographic too, of folks that coming into the region.
Are the times, even though it's the same weekend, are the times staggered, or, are they different so that you can't
They're
go
going on
on?
at the same time, but there's, ours is such that it lasts so long. I don't know exactly what their schedule is, but ours, there'll be boats in the water all day Saturday and all day Sunday.
Okay.
So that's, and Saturday night, when the parade stuff is, I doubt if there'll be planes in the air at the night. I'm pretty sure those probably restricted to one day, but Linda might have more on that schedule. I don't know if that was part of that.
No, it didn't, but Heather and I have a conversation today, so I'll double check with her.
Yeah. So, but we're doing co-marketing now with Lake County, which is really good, and we're partnering with all of our sports stuff at a higher level with them. You all approved in the budget that we actually supplement some of the money that they give to NSA. When you bring in these big groups like NSA, the cost is high. I don't know what Lake County's putting out now for that, but years ago, when they first proposed to us to partner with them, and we chose not to, for the right reasons, as Martha will remember, we made the right choice. It was like $40,000 or $50,000 then to get a group like that to host their World Series in your region. I'm sure it's probably up to $100,000 that Lake County has to put out to get that World Series back here. So it's the right thing to do for us to partner with them, be part of that, because we get a big hit off of that. So we're expanding on that, and they're really ahead of the game with regards to youth sports, because they got such great facilities in Lake County. So we're going to tag off of that and keep our properties full, Kessling and Patriot, and that's the plan. So we're excited about that. It was a great meeting. Any questions on that, the status of the region? It's just we're at a really great spot, with that. So that's a real good thing. Of course, the Aquacross race is coming up next weekend. We'll get through the 4th. We've got speedboats in both parades, LaPorte and Michigan City, coming in, and then we'll go right into Aquacross, and we go into Lake Fest, and then of course we go into the Grand Prix. So those are all coming up. Anybody got any questions on any of that? I don't think I need to go through too much of that right now with anybody, but certainly the planning is all moved forward the way it should be. Lake Fest I'm really excited to see that grow. Adam, any comments on Lake Fest from your perspective, committee-wise?
No, it's like you said, it's great. There's a lot of good, exciting things going on right now. It's growing tremendously from where it was last year. With that comes more, sponsorships and budgets and things like that. But the entertainment that we've brought in this year, that we are bringing in, is really good. Bigger acts, and one of them's a worldwide touring band, Everclear. So, Everclear, they were huge in like the 90s and 2000s, like a rock band. But anyway, seems like a lot of good feedback. Everybody's excited about what's going on, and there's just a kind of a huge spectrum of different things to do, from kids to family to everyone. Bags tournaments and the boats and the jet skis and everything else. So, but no, it's coming along really well.
Is there a special website for the viewing audience to access the schedule for all of the activities?
Yeah, everything is LaPorteLakeFest.com. So you can go on there and kind of see.
Okay, we got Rick right.
I was trying to get Jack. I didn't want to interrupt you. Just read the board. We got on the Aquacross, back to Jack. Obviously you guys are invited to the Meet the Racer thing Friday night for the Aquacross, which is that Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's always a good time to bring the racers in.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. But no, it's going really well. Sponsorships are coming along. I think last time we had over $70,000 I think we brought in so far. So
That's good enough.
we're doing good. We're getting where we need to be. We still have a couple outstanding that were in last year that we're just waiting on commitments on. But overall, everything's moving along well. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Action-packed weekends and a lot,
Yeah.
a lot going on.
Do you attribute that uptick in sponsorships to the level of entertainment you're bringing in? Because that's a high level of entertainment.
I think that's a big one. Yeah, we went just to put in perspective, I think
It's
our
good to know that.
big number last year, I think our big headliner was like $5,000 and this year it's like 30, so it's a big difference, So with that, I think a lot of us just had to step up and do a lot more on sponsorships, where last year it was, some of the partnerships that were just in place with the city or the mayor or the park department, but now we're doing a lot more outreach and doing a lot more
good deal.
calling and reaching out to people.
That's a great deal. And then, I think lastly, under my report, before we get some of the community partner reports, we had a meeting yesterday, first meeting, real formal meeting with NIBC, the basketball tournament. We got some great news coming forward there. We got, looks like, some expanded partnerships and stuff we'll be able to announce soon. So there's going to be a series of meetings coming up on that, but it's going to be bigger and better. We're going to fill that Civic up and put LaPorte back on the keep us back on the map as a sports venue, and that's exciting. The conference has grown. The basketball conference, they went from 10 to 14 teams, and I think part of that's the national exposure. That's what that's all about for the schools, and the ESPN exposure that these tournaments bring is a big deal. So yeah, they've drawn in 4 new teams, so that's going to be a little challenging, but this kind of fits in. We always like to add time to these events. Remember, the boat race started on a Saturday and Sunday. Now it's on Wednesday through Sunday. Same thing with this. We keep broadening it out. We're going to have a VIP event probably on Wednesday and have more teams in town and more interaction with the coaches, and so that's kind of the plan. So that's going great, and we'll keep you updated on that, of course. So if it's all right, then I'm going to move into our reports. So under operational finances, is there anything else, Gail, that you need to add there? Under operational finances, you good?
We're doing great.
Yeah.
Everything is balancing. We have no issues with the reports we're receiving from our accounting firm. Let me know if ever there's any question, please. Happy to explain anything.
Yeah, and on that note too, we've worked really hard to try to get the financial updates to you a little earlier. And it's a little bit of a challenge because there's so much involved there. And as you know, AFS does a great job for us. They put all that together, but they deal with staff issues just like everybody else. And so we've had in the past had to almost share some of that the day of the meeting or real short notice, and to me that's not acceptable. Okay, it's not something that when I served on the board, I wouldn't have appreciated that, and I think our goal is to get those numbers to you quick as we can. So Gail's done a really good job getting that up, and if anybody's got any issues with those time frames, please let us know. But I think we're getting them now within a week now. We're pretty close.
The 20th is usually the day I receive them.
Yeah.
So we try to get as quick a turnaround as possible after I review them. I do like to review them first, just in case anything jumps out as questionable.
And then my last comment would be the Finance Committee did an outstanding job with regards to how you handled the dollars that we put into the extra market. We're starting to get our reports back, and you guys will all see that. But I can tell you right now, it was a great move.
Yeah.
And you guys did a great job.
I noticed that on the financials. We could see it put into that fund.
Yeah.
So that was a good move, and I think in a couple of months you're going to start to see some dollars generated from that. That'll be to your liking.
Well, it already is. It already is. It's there. So yeah, that's a great. You guys did a good job. I'm very impressed with that. So moving on, Linda, Director of Marketing.
Yeah, and when Jack was talking about the meeting they had at South Shore CDA, he forgot to mention that he also handed out copies of our 2022 community report, and just the very positive acclamations we received because of the type of document we had put together. And Dave, who is the CEO there, recommended to the other entities there that this is something all of them should be doing. And but it got rave reviews. Jack called him; he was so excited. So and tying on to that, the Herald Dispatch had told us that they also wanted to do a 6 series of our document, our community report. So last Saturday, it started, and I think it's on page 3. So this was Saturday, and then today it's our following pages and so on. So this will go through Saturday, and once again, just gives people who didn't get a hard copy of the community report a chance to see it page by page in the newspaper. So we thought that was a great bullet for us as well. Yesterday, myself and Scott were invited to be part of the LEAP show on WIMS. Thank you, Doug, for texting in. And so it was great. Mike Riley and Eric did an awesome job. It's their show. And so we just talked about, boat race, aquacross, and so on. So that went over very well. But it's always exciting to have a chance to be up there with Federici. He knows all of us so well, so he knows all the questions. But kudos to Mike Riley, Amy, did an awesome job just getting the dialogue and have given us the opportunity to promote the race. And Jack mentioned the co-marketing that we're doing with South Shore CDA, where after tomorrow everything is final. I was on the phone with Heather last night, and we tweaked a couple things jointly, and that just shows how well the partnership is going. One of those, Jack, was the title, the headline that neither one of us really thought was that great, so we came up with an idea. And so we're making some changes, and then we'll get you the digital information so that you have a chance to go on. But this will be covered in Michigan, Ohio, and Chicago. But Michigan is a hard hit, which a lot of times, just some of the things that we do with Western Michigan, but this is the entire state. So I'm just looking to see, once again, right off 94, what we can do to draw everybody in. Today at 4 o'clock at Barrel House, Elaine Beadle, who is the Executive Director of IDDC, Indiana Destination Development Commission, will be there to talk to businesses and so on about the In Indiana brand. They've taken a little hit lately. A lot of people traveling into the state from other states miss that welcome to Indiana signage. And so they're coming out, to talk. If you remember last year, we had the Lieutenant Governor come out and do that for the North region, which was good. Well, she's doing the same now to introduce and talk to businesses and so on to really get that. So kudos to Katie Eaton for having her come on board. So it's only a couple hours, so I'll be there so I can give you a nice report, and I'm sure there'll be some media coverage. And Amy and I next month will be attending the Destinations International Conference. This year it's in Texas. Hot. And Amy's going to be taking some more of her CDME courses. So we're real excited to have her, I know Jack's talked about it several times, to have her complete all of that so that she can get her CDME recognition. And other than that, everything else is going well. I spoke to Scott real quick this morning. Looks like they've got about maybe 80 people who have ordered the VIP badges from Eventbrite. So that's a good start when we look at where we are. And then obviously, I believe people are coming in and doing some purchases. But the word is out, and that's the big part. And then with the co-marketing that we're doing with South Shore, that's giving us more of an opportunity to really push not just the air show, but draw recognition to our boat race of people that haven't been before. So other than that, that's all I got.
That's good stuff, thank you.
Yeah, good stuff.
Real good. Linda cleaned up the report on that press release nicely. If I would have been given it, would have been, that press release that they gave us was not acceptable. Great. Just disappointing for a company that comes in and makes and charges for what they do. It was just not. So we cleaned it up nice. Good job with that, Rita.
And that's the good part with
That's why I didn't talk about it and let her talk. She made it.
I knew he was going to come back with it. But once again, it just shows, He's getting it anyway.
Heather
and I talked. We both agreed on certain things. We made the changes. And I think this just shows the relationship that we now have with Lake County. Is just going to keep blooming along with our other NITs.
Oh, yeah, that was no reflection on them. That was,
No.
So that was good. So heads and beds.
Okay, so our team has been out visiting hotels again. Last week we went to the LaPorte hotels, and today and tomorrow we're going to visit the Michigan City hotels. This trip is basically taking the promotional items for the Lake Fest, Aquacross, both races, and Grand Prix. Posters, rack cards, brochures, schedules, all the above. So, and then again, just kind of trying to find out what's going on with them out there. Occupancy's been really good for most of them. They're pretty happy, and some of them have seen an uptick in business travel too, corporate travel, so that's good as well. Obviously leisure's always good in the summer, but a couple keynotes I wanted to share. Tricia Segovia, I don't know if you guys remember her from Best Western, but she's coming back to Aria Resort, which is going to have another name change, but we don't have confirmation on that exactly yet. But she was a great partner, and we've already been in contact with her, and we're really excited about that because we know we need to get that hotel moving and occupied and so on. And they do have, I think, Uno's Pizza's coming there in about a month, we believe. It's kind of pushed back a few times, but that looks like it's a go, so that's exciting as well. And then Comfort Inn in LaPorte was sold, so the new general manager there as well. We have not met him yet, but we really like the scene, so we were a little sad, but I'm sure this guy will be great too, so looking forward to that partnership.
Don't write down the owner, it'll change before the next meeting.
That's true.
That's the industry we're in. So on that note though, the report Amy just gave about the hotel in LaPorte, the area, the name is changing, but there's, in our understanding of these lodging facilities, are a couple key components that you need. You need to have an owner that's committed financially and understands a business plan and things like that, and that's always a challenge. We've got an owner there that we feel meets that bar. They run a facility in Porter County, do a great job. So the second part of that is having a local manager on site that is capable and has the ability to run a facility like that. It's not an easy job. Those managers at those hotels, and they go through them very quickly at most of them. We've had the luxury of working with Patricia before, and her coming back is a big deal. She's a great industry person. She understands the hospitality industry. She's a hard worker, and she understands that facility. So this is big for us. It's probably the best news we could have gotten, because we don't have a property in LaPorte County that offers what that facility offers. We do not have the ability to bring in a full service to any group except Blue Chip. That's the only property we have. And Blue Chip's got other, they're full most of the time. They've got other direction they need to fill. They're not always youth friendly by the nature of the gaming stuff. So this is perfect for us to have a full service for, again, we've already started making plans to bring back the hosting of some of the meetings for the youth sports that we've had to take in other counties because we just didn't have anything for them. So it's a big deal. And we're really excited about that. Thanks for the update on that, Amy. That's great news. So Terry's not here. we'll just move on from Terry. Rick, did you want to say anything about the Aquacross just coming up?
And everything is getting into full swing. We actually have our first steering committee or infrastructure meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the fire station on Michigan Boulevard. At that meeting, we're going to be going over the Aquacross and the big race. So, we'll hand out, we'll set up, as you all know, we go over all the safety and everything at those meetings. And thanks to Dale, she's going to bring in some food, right? And then the LaPorte race, the Aquacross meeting in LaPorte won't be until like the 28th, I think, or I'm sorry, the 6th of July, because that's not. What?
It scared me.
Tomorrow.
28th would have been a little tight.
Yeah.
Listen, when you poured 3 races on me, I get all these dates and everything. But no, everything is going right. Constantly on the phone every day, just chatting with Michelle. Michelle will actually be here for the port meeting, which is going to be cool. For the park meeting. We're on schedule, Jack.
Good, yeah, thank you. Gail put a copy of the LaPorte update in front of you. Should be one. Just help yourself to that. If you got any questions, let us know.
Is this the time to talk about the Great Lakes Grand Prix? Or is
Sure.
I was just going to ask. I'm always interested in what kind of turnout we're getting for the races. I know it's good, but are we gonna break any records or as far as numbers?
About both.
Yeah,
The race teams.
Again, you're talking about one of the best sites in North America,
Right.
Michigan City.
Right.
The Class 1, they get to choose. These days, the classes choose where they want to go. It's not
Right.
like you have a boat race and people just show up. These guys are all connected together and they choose as classes now. It's not OPA designated, it's not P1 designated. They choose as classes as to where they're going to attend. And we anticipate the big boats, we're going to have probably 7 or 8, I'm told. I'm talking big Geico type, not
Right.
Gone.
Right.
It's going to be 65. If you ask Jack, it's going to be 100. But we'll probably get 65.
That's because I told him to say no.
That's what incentive pay.
I should have said that weeks ago.
You should wait a little bit on that one, yeah.
Did you ever fish, a fisherman, when they catch fish, how they talk about,
It's gonna be
never learned that.
We're on the phone with Smitty, I'm on the phone with Adam and Michelle almost every other day anyway. And
But 65, now how does that compare with the other venues when they,
it's at the top.
I just want the public to hear that.
Because again, they don't all go to Sarasota, they don't all go to Cocoa Beach.
Right.
But because we roll out the red carpet, they love Michigan City. And it's a northern site, which, it costs a lot of money for those guys to come here. And so that's a feather in our cap, that we do provide what we do provide for them.
No, good deal, thanks, Rick.
Thanks.
Yep. County, Joy.
Yeah, so quick update, just a few events that are gonna be coming up. Everyone knows right now, it's kind of the fair season coming into play. So they have the rights over the grounds, but starting back April 5th, we are back to having something out there every weekend, all the way through October. So it's definitely being utilized, which is great to see. Next year, we already have confirmed Orange Power will be back. They're going to be doing an event, probably a 4 to 5 day event in June.
Joy,
bigger
just for
than-
the public, explain what they
So
do.
the Lumley Heritage Building that's out front of there, they have their big events. They do have one every year. Obviously, every year is not big. So this year they had a smaller event out there. It was last weekend, I believe, and then next year they'll be having a little bigger one. So they anticipate much more people coming in. They don't have all the numbers. We're still finalizing some of their details, but they are booked again for June. So that's great. Glad to have them back and a partner because it's right there kind of on the ground. So it's nice to have something in conjunction with them there. I am also working with 3 other totally different national horse groups that have not been to our facility again. They're looking at trying to bring an event our way. So I'm working with all of them. Again, I don't have all the details, but that's in the works as well. So all for next year. And then an update on the improvements, because that's kind of the big thing going on right now. So I know Laura asked earlier about the bathrooms and the grandstands. Bathrooms are always a hot commodity. Talk about it at the fairgrounds. As of Friday, they will be 90% done. So they're still anticipating them being up and running and ready to go for Fair Week. The remaining of all of the fair buildings out there have now been painted, so now they all match. It all looks very nice. If you haven't driven out there, I would say that you need to go out and take a look, because it does look very nice out there, all uniform. And in Pioneerland, they had some of their light poles, the same thing. It's all been fixed. They're all painted and ready to go for Fair Week. The lights, so the north end of the fair, down by the grandstand and all that, they've put up 8 brand new lights out there. So now it's kind of lit up like a baseball park, which is great. But that will save from having to bring in generators and extra lights and all that for Fair Week or any other event that's out there, and plus for security. That was one of the reasons we wanted to make sure that those were up, just for safety reasons. And then they also put a few of those, not as many as in the north, but in the south end too. So the main parking lot has the same additions. So again, saving on some of the light costs coming in for events and that, and again for security. So all of those are up and ready to go as well. And then the campground. So they have one of the runs completely all done, up to par and ready to go. There's ultimately 3 more runs that we would like to do. That's gonna be kind of a push for the fall. We wanted to make sure that we had at least the one already done. And a lot of the prep work is done for the next ones. But in the fall, I really wanna push on those improvements, because I would really want to market and push that campground facility to RVs and camping for Notre Dame games, for different events. Plus, we have a couple of big, huge construction projects that are going to be coming in our area, and people are going to be looking for huge spots. And the majority of the campgrounds all around here are pretty booked all year round. And this will be an all-year facility too. So with the Westville Correction Center being that construction project, and then the one that's going to be ultimately coming in New Carlisle, I think we have a huge niche or market right there to try to get some of those in there. It just brings in extra revenue for the camping and to utilize the ground. So that's gonna be one of my focuses for that.
That's great, and I'm sure the board realizes that those campground stays are direct innkeeper tax related. The statute applies to them. So that's great. A lot of people forget that. That and the marina also falls under the same statute direction. So that's cool. So that's going to help us a lot there. So
They paid?
Who?
The marina?
If they fit the overnight stays, yes.
Yeah. Really?
Huh? Yeah, by statute, and same with campgrounds. And I enjoy, really nailed it with those construction places that are going to be full for sure. It's good projection on your part to stay on top of that. Yeah, real good. All right, so Blue Chip's not here. I've talked to Angie in the last couple of days. There's nothing significant to report there other than they're really busy. I just close by saying that we are, again, working with the folks that run the fair, and we'll be shuttling the entertainment, like always, back and forth for the fair. They're using our vehicles and our staff to help keep that moving and keep it up to speed, and looking forward to that, and working with our partners at the fair again as normal. So, Pat, that's it for me.
Okay, again, a lot of stuff going on here. Do we have any unfinished business at this time that anyone would like to report on or discuss? If not, we'll move right into new business. And as Jack stated for the last couple of months, he's looking to do some facility improvements here, and we have a world-class staff. So now we're going to supplement that with a world-class facility. We're going to just do some updating of our facilities here, and we do have a special appropriation that we want to do today, and I'll let Jack just go over it real quick, and then we'll ask Mr. Doug Waters to make the motion for approval.
Are you good with Jack now?
We're going to do that next. The marketing plan is going to.
Gotcha, okay, cool.
I just want to.
Yep, perfect, good deal.
Because it's kind of quick.
Yeah, no, it's real good, no? So, let me get to that, Pat. Sorry, I was a step behind there.
Wait,
So.
you gotta like keep in step here with me.
So I sent you all a little update on how we got this. It was kind of an interesting time. We only had to do this one other time to ask for a special appropriation. And the situation was that we found out in the middle of budget cycles that our carpet really needs to get cleaned up. You know, as you can see, it's the high traffic areas are 14 years of traffic, period, and that's just what happens. And we've got a lot of carpet in here, and so we've worked with Laura on process on how we best get that done and follow the proper procedures. And we've came up with the idea that we're going to do it in 2 phases. And that's going to work out really perfect, and I laid that out in my outline to you all. And then, unfortunately, one of our vehicles is given up. Okay, it's 16 years we've had it. We keep our we take really good care of our vehicles, but then we keep them a long time. But this one's had that. I'm not going to let folks drive it. It's not safe anymore, and we're probably going to end up salvaging it pretty much now. There's not much we can do with it. We've run its course, and that is something that we need to get fixed fairly soon. So, what do you do when you're in between budget cycles? Do you have a budget for it? So I got a hold of our accountants at Applegate, and I talked to Pat, and we kind of kicked it around a little bit, and they recommended just bringing it before you all and saying, look, we've got the money to do it, so the board can appropriate it now. They don't have to wait till it comes into a budget cycle. And again, in my tenure here, we've only had to do this one other time, and I think that was in relationship to giving the city of LaPorte some money to support dollars that were lost on the tunnel bolts that were there several years ago. And the city, Mayor Krantz at the time got stuck with the bill that was kind of wasn't his, and he had to pay it. So, as you all remember, we stepped up and took care of that, and we did a special appropriation at that time. So that's only the second time, but as I look at this, this may be a tool that we may use going forward. So maybe next year when we do the budget, I may submit to you all a special appropriation request alongside of that. Yeah. And that wouldn't be included, because it kind of inflates the budget in my mind, and I don't want to put us at a spot in the budget where a dollar amount like we're talking here could put us in a close to a negative spot when you talk about expenditures versus income. And because the income, we never know what we're going to get the year going forward, and it certainly wouldn't be prudent to propose a budget that exceeds what our expected income is. So this way we can use special appropriations when we know the money's in there and do it that way. It's I think a lot more efficient way to do that. So I kind of like the process here, and that's what we got. So the first part of it was the carpet, the second was the vehicle. And I sent this all to the finance committee, and they did a good job coming back. They looked it over, asked a few questions. Got Laura and I working on the procedures on how to do all the purchases, and they've come up with a recommendation that I put in here, and I've shared with Pat. So that's where I'm at with it. I'm glad to answer any questions, any discussion on it.
Anybody have any questions on what you received in your emails and you got your questions answered? Then I think we can proceed with our motion from Mr. Doug Waters.
All right, the Finance Committee recommended approving a total not to exceed $130,000 for the 2 purchases combined. So I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation of the Finance Committee pending final legal approval of all transactions.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Waters and a second by Mr. Konishny. Final call for any questions or comments. Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, Jack?
Okay, great. Thank you,
We expect to
everybody.
see
Thank you.
a nice design in the car.
Yeah.
With the logo. Yes, with the logo.
And we'll be, Gail and I'll be working with Laura on making sure we do this all correctly and make sure we follow the correct procedures with regards to getting everything tightened up and done. So we'll keep you updated on it as we move forward on it. So great, good deal, thank you.
All right, then that brings us to the final item on our agenda for today. And this is an area where we really have an opportunity to do some great things as far as planning. And thanks to Linda and her team, they put together our business plan for the marketing side of the events and activities that go on here. And you've all had a chance to look at that. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Linda to kind of do a recap, and then we'll ask for approval.
Absolutely, and as you all know, every year we do a marketing and business plan. Literally, it's our footstep to saying what we do, how we do it, and when we're going to do it, and also notes as far as whose responsibility it is. It's obviously done really well with us over the years, and so we've decided, you know, obviously it's part of what we do, to have a chance to present the updated version to you. And if you have any questions, you can let us know. But once again, it's a great document. We're real proud of it, and updated in a lot of formats as far as, you know, looking at our hotel committee and what they do and so on. So I think it's more detailed than what we've had in the past. So if there are no questions.
Yeah, thanks, Linda. And I'd just like to say that as we built this plan, anytime you have any type of success, you know, you try to figure out what got you there, right? You know, and certainly we've done well financially. We've done well with our innkeeper's tax, and this is the tool that lets us really drive all of that. But I'm convinced that in our industry, especially, if you don't satisfy the needs of your communities, you're not meeting what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. Okay,
period. We can do well financially, but you've got to identify what your communities want, what your partners want, and what fits, especially in regards to inventory and stuff like that we have to utilize. So this is built, in my opinion, around what our communities have told us they want. And if you look through this plan, as you all have, you'll see that everywhere, every step of this, whether it's the successful events, that path we went down, or whether it's the staff, the compensation for the staff, what they do, recognizing their skills in the form of incentive and things like that. It all ties into this, and it all, so this gives me a chance to help build the budget that I'll be bringing back, built off of this now. Once you guys give us the next step here, then we'll be able to go back and build our budget around this and move forward. This one deviates a little bit from previous ones. We decided we could do better, and we hired Dan Barris out of NITDC to help guide this process, and then Linda and the team here, they did a great job moving this forward. And then this is the document that we have to vote on. Then we also have another document that we'll be glad to share with you that doesn't need board approval, and that will be the implementation part. And Gail will be glad to send that out once this is adopted. We have to kind of do this first. And if you guys say this is a go or make any changes, we'll adjust the implementation plan accordingly. We couldn't do it today because we couldn't do it without your approval first. So that's what we're asking you to vote on, is the plan as you see it, and then we've prepared an implementation plan, which is the key to its success. As Linda pointed out, that deal I think we can send out electronically if it's passed as is. If there's any adjustments made, we'll have to step back and make some adjustments, right? Yeah, cool. So that makes sense.
That sure does.
Okay, good.
Sure does. Any comments? I would just like to, after looking at the plan, and you know, I of course go through it every year, and I'm almost trying to look for something that I can comment on, because I like to comment, but the only comments I can make is, you know, great job. So
Yeah.
I just figured I'd just say that verbally to everyone. And I appreciate staff doing the work that they do to put together the plan, because it is a very good document. It's very thorough, and once you see the implementation plan, you'll see how everything really flows in to making it happen. It's one thing to have a plan, but then to make it happen and how you're going to do that is also very important. So appreciate all the hard work that went into that. Linda, staff, thank you. So with that, I will ask for a motion to approve the marketing and business plan as presented by staff.
Make a motion to the marketing business plan be accepted.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Doug Waters and a second by Laura Krenz to approve the marketing and business plan. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. Good for another year, Linda.
All right.
Okay, are there any board comments at this time?
I do just want to say, I didn't see it on Brett's LaPorte update, so I just wanted to tell everyone, if you haven't already, the new LaPorte Market downtown on Sunday, the Farm and Forage Market, is really awesome. So if you haven't gotten a chance yet, I would definitely stop down there. There's like a really good mix of farmed fruits, vegetables, all of that, and artesian. Mandy's done a really great job with it.
It's on Sundays?
It's on Sundays from 11 to 4. And then she's also the one directing the market on the Lake Fest on Saturday, and she puts on an amazing artesian market. So highly recommend.
Yeah, good. Thank you for that. It's good to know. Okay, any other comments? I would just like to thank the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau for sponsoring or being one of our sponsors this year for the corporate luncheon held at Blue Chip for Indiana Black Expo, the Michigan City chapter. We gave out 3 awards, one for the I Rise Award, which was Mr. Breland Hervey, and then we gave out the Community Spirit Award, which is always a surprise, and that went to Mr. Alan Williams. He's the gentleman with the extreme history in Michigan City for Black History Month. He's been putting on these exhibits around the community, and he also worked with Safe Harbor, and he's just done a lot of great things in the community. So we did acknowledge him this year. And then the Lifetime Achievement Award that we give out went to Cliff Livingston, and I don't know if you guys know Cliff, but he was on the Bulls team when they won 2 of their NBA championships with Michael Jordan. And so he got that award. He was actually in a tournament because he's still coaching, and his team was in the playoffs, had made it to the playoffs and was in the playoff rounds and was winning, and so he couldn't physically be there. So we had Blue Chip set up a Zoom acceptance, so he was able to accept it that way. It was a great event, great turnout, and I do appreciate the Tourism Bureau for stepping up and being one of our sponsors this year. Great event. If we have nothing else, our next meeting is July 27th, 8:30, same time, same place.
Correct.
No, 25th.
25th.
Oh, you did change it. Oh, yeah, sorry. July 25th, just like I said.
Let us know too, please, because that July is always a tough month with vacation and
Right.
stuff and the availability, please.
Right, so we can make sure we have form.
Yeah.
It's very important. Well, with that, have a great month, and we'll see you in July. Thank you.
Laura, thanks for all.